Welcome to Uncle Jimmy's podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
What do you both think about fear?
I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations. I'm here to live up to mine.
He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life.
Fear is a teacher.
And I don't skip class.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Uncle Jimmy's podcast. I'm your host, as you know, friendly Uncle Jimmy. And if you're new here, let me just say, you picked one hell of a day to show up. I mean that. Before I bring today's guest in, I want to say something straight from the heart, because that's how we do it here. We're in the middle of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, June, and I want you to know, if you're a man out there who has ever swallowed something down, buried something deep, smiled when you wanted to scream, this show and this episode specifically is for you, because today's guest, he gets it. Not from a textbook, not from a seminar, from living it, from standing in it, from choosing over and over again to get back up. So let me tell you about Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson is a nationally touring clean comedian. Over 20 years on the road, in the clubs, on the stages, in front of the crowds. His name has been mentioned in the same breath as Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin James, Jackie Gleason, right? Legends of observational comedy. And Danny, he has earned that company. He is a dry bar comedy special veteran. You can find him on Apple TV, Amazon, and Peacock. He has performed at Natlan Live at the legendary Zanies Comedy Club. His YouTube special broke 200,000 views in its just first couple months, and it's still climbing. He has been in TV commercials. He tours the country regularly, consistently, because this man does not quit. But here's what sets Danny apart and what makes him perfect guest for this conversation in this month on this show. Danny Johnson is also an author. His first book, You Stink and They Know It. It's a no-fluff, laugh-out-loud guide to crushing your next job interview. Classic Danny, practical, sharp, honest, funny, the kind of book that actually helps you. And then his latest book is called GLP-1 and Muscle Growth, the Flying Squirrel Syndrome. And if that title doesn't make you lean in, nothing will. This is the real story of how Danny lost 45 pounds while building and maintaining muscle, told with that kind of raw, honest, hilarious storytelling only he can deliver. But before we get to it, there is one more thing about Danny Johnson that I have to tell you. He is openly candid in his comedy, in his writing, in his life, about living with social anxiety and depression. He said it himself, and I am going to quote him because these words deserve to be spoken out loud. Even through my mental health and weight troubles, I take no greater joy than to make someone laugh. I struggle mentally and with my physical health, trying to improve myself daily. All the while I write and perform material that I hope brings joy to people's life. That is Danny Johnson, 20 years of making people laugh, a lifetime of fighting for himself, a man who chose to go all in, not just on comedy, not just on health, not just on the stage, but on life itself. Danny, brother, welcome to Uncle Jimmy's podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
Hey, that's great. What an intro, man. I started to get welled up a little.
You got to get me out there at Zanies, right? I can do that for you every time we start. I'm excited.
And I missed that accent too. I grew up in New York, but I've spent half my life now in Florida, and I missed that Northeast accent.
Makes you think of like going back in the day, right? Heading into the bar, seeing everybody, right? Having some drinks and fun.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. It's not funny, but interesting to me is, hearing someone from the Northeast even talk about mental health is odd.
Yeah.
Just because, we're known as brazen, sort of machismo. Yeah. So, we're a little softer down here in the South. And
I know about it,
Things have changed, but it's very comforting to talk to somebody openly about that subject that's,
no doubt about
so
it.
sort of from my past sort of bit.
Yeah, I have a segment on Mondays. I do Mental Health Mondays, and I think it's one of the biggest things we have to do as men, right? Speak up. If it's okay not to be okay, right? But speak to somebody, lean in on somebody you can trust, right?
Yeah.
And
the hardest thing was
chaos,
Yeah, I think the hardest thing was like making that decision and forcing yourself to. It's okay to not be okay, but you need to move.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see, because it's the wallowing in it, and because it's physical. When I hit my mental health struggles when I started them, it was the first time in my life that it affected me physically. So what I mean by that is, if I was in a bad mood or depressed or felt anxious in the past, I would just kind of either blow it off or get up and do something. But when depression hits, sometimes you don't move, and you're like, why is my mind and body so against this? I know what I have to do. I'm just not doing it.
When mine hit, right, I always found the happiness in the bottom of a McDonald's bag or a Wendy's bag, right?
It's the
That was
best.
me.
You got to pretend you're ordering for 2 people.
Yeah, always. I'm always like, yeah, this is for my buddy at home. He forgot to come.
Yeah. I forgot what he wanted. What was it? 2
Exactly.
quarter pounded? Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Because I was up to 346 pounds almost. On a weight loss journey now, down to 234, 232. So I'm excited.
Great.
And life just opened up. After I lost the weight and everything, just to, come into clarity with my mind and my anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Just
Because you
living
start to
life-
feel better about yourself. You know what I mean? You
That's so
just
much
start to.
better. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many, if I tilt my camera to behind me is a giant wall mirror. I've avoided mirrors for 20 years.
Yeah.
And
No
so
doubt
now I'm down 60 since August 2024. And I was like, I'm getting a big damn mirror.
Yeah. Show it off.
Not that I'm going to stare in it, you know what I mean? But, what also helped me too, because people don't stick with stuff, workouts, I'm just as guilty. I was up and down my whole life. And I finally came to the realization, like, I'm not competing for anything. I'm not in a bodybuilding competition. I'm not in the Olympics. If I have a bad day, I have a bad day. I used to let a bad day spiral into a month.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And
only
now
one
I'm
you're
like,
in
okay, well,
competition, Dan, is yourself.
Yeah, that took a long time to realize.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm having cake when I go out to dinner with my girlfriend, and I'm not. That's fine. I'm not competing anytime soon.
Exactly. And enjoy the small things, right? But just know tomorrow when you hit the gym, you got to go a little harder, right?
Yeah, why not?
Exactly. So you are openly candid, right, about living with social anxiety and depression, right? I want to sit with that for a second because you choose a career that puts you in front of crowds, right? How do those two things coexist inside you?
I said that to an audience not too long ago. I said, my number one fear in life is public speaking. I also have social anxiety disorder. I hate large crowds, traffic, lines.
And here I am.
And public. And, so I told them, like, if you guys can all turn around and face the other way, that'd be great.
It's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I think once I realized the power of laughter for both me and the recipient, I'm just hooked. And one of the best ways I found for depression and social anxiety, more depression, is put my focus outward.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go on stage tonight. I don't want to do these jokes. I don't have anything new this week. It's not. And then you have to force yourself. It's not about me. This is all for them. It's turns out it's therapeutic for me as well. But if you put others first, which is anti-ego, not really, because I'm up on stage. Just look at me, right? But
no, if you
know what I
the
mean.
Crowd first, putting on a good show for them, right? They're paying good money to come in and see you, and always a 2-drink minimum.
Right. I'm doing it so like Saturday I'm doing an event, Murray Hill Theater in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. And I did a door deal with them. So, and ticket sales are decent, but not what I want them to be. And so I have to constantly shift my mindset to this is about that, the people that did pay are going to get the best show I can give them. I'm not going to focus. I see comedians sometimes like, oh, so many empty seats and
then they have a down.
And then the audience feels like, oh, why did I buy a ticket?
Yeah. I used to go see comedians all the time. I used to love going to see comedians here in Boston. We used to have them all the time. They still come, but I don't see them as much as I used to. I used to love going. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun.
I've never. Yeah. Then that's the birthplace of many, many great comedians. And
my favorite comedian of all time was Artie Lang. I don't know where he is or what he's doing with his life. I just hope he's sober and he's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Last time I heard he was sober, but I don't know him. I never met him, so I don't know. I know he messed his nose up there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do you know how? Did you hear how he did it?
Yeah.
He snorted. Someone broke up some drugs or coke or whatever, and it ended up being glass in it.
Yep,
little pieces of glass.
Right up.
Boom.
He said it sounded like a zipper as it went up. He was one of the funniest. Besides, Don Rickles was my favorite. Near and dear to my heart. I used to see him when he came around. He was Don was the best. He picked on.
I wonder
everybody.
If he could get away with that today.
He'd be canceled. I say it all the time. He would have been canceled.
It's almost like till his dying. He performed late in his life.
Yeah,
and it was.
That's when I saw him.
Mostly just his audience. It's just you have to get him. You can't just be blind. Like, who is this guy? And then go in there and.
Yeah, he was great. So is the stage right a relief from the anxiety, or does it have its own kind of pressure as well?
At this point in my career, the only anxiety I feel is before the show.
Yeah.
So,
like before you're gonna hit the stage.
Yeah, because you have all the self-doubt washes over you. All these, I've told this joke 50 times that I'm opening with. I need to get a new opener. Or why aren't I writing more? These aren't funny. Are these real words? It's a very bizarre. And then the instant I touch the microphone stand, I'm fine.
You're right on.
Early in my career, way back in the day, the anxiety was throughout the set. It was just awful. But at this point, I have a few hours of material. I'm always writing new stuff, trying new stuff, and some venues and crowds are there to see me specifically, so it's nice. But yeah, I wish that I could. If the show started at 8, I wish I could get dropped off at the venue at 7:59.
Right to the mic,
and they go,
right
ladies
out
and
the door.
gentlemen, Danny Johnson. Right.
Yeah.
So it's the before, but then the catch-22 there is my favorite thing to do is hang out with other comedians. So I do like to get there early to hang out. Shoot the breeze in the green room, and because those are my favorite people. Those, we have the same.
Some of the
similar
darkest
thought
people
process.
too you'll ever meet, right?
Yeah, if you get to know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I find, like I said, I used to go here all the time in Boston. We have them, and they're just the funniest people, but some of the darkest people that get to the darkest places of life. And
There's a Boston staple. I wish I could remember his name. He's tall. He's probably in his 70s. A tall guy, bald with a mustache, and he used to always wear a hat. He always performed at the Cam Neely
probably Sweeney
fundraiser. Yeah. That's him. Tall guy.
Yeah, he's still around.
Super funny.
Still
Super
doing his
funny.
thing. Him. What's his name too?
Dennis Leary, of course.
Dennis Leary. Yeah. So they're still around doing their thing.
Yeah. But Sweeney was one of my favorites. I don't from watching. I can't remember it. I can't believe I didn't remember his name.
Steve Sweeney. Yeah. So when did you decide to stop hiding the part of yourself, right, and speak about it publicly?
I think it coincided with more and more stage time and my attempt to connect with the audience and write new jokes and create new material. It was like I found that the more vulnerable I was, because I'm sort of silly on stage. I like silly humor. I like real life stuff, situations where, I'm an idiot. I'm the idiot, socially awkward person for real. And the more I shared of that, the more I connected with the crowd and the larger my audience got and the more laughs I got. And I was like, oh, and then I felt better after. And I was like, okay, that was real. That was, and also selfishly too, it was a little bit less memorization of a joke that I wrote. It was just me recounting the story. And then of course, on the technical side of comedy, I'm remembering all the strong punchlines and taglines and, rewriting it, editing it, chopping it up.
Right off the, script,
Yeah. So if I have 9 new premises that I'm working through now. So I have a show tomorrow night in Panama at the Emerald City Theater, and then Saturday, Murray Hill Theater. And, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get to work through those. And Saturday night's very stressful because living in Jacksonville, Florida, I have a lot of family, friends, and acquaintances attending. And it's like, I would rather. I'm very confident it's going to overall be a great show, but trying that new stuff is like
it's new material, right?
Oh yeah. I've only either never done it or done it less than 5 times.
Okay.
So it's me
Now,
vetting
how long's
through
your set
it.
usually?
An hour if I headline.
Yeah.
I'll open for bigger acts. I did a short tour with Howie Mandel last year, and so I just do 20 up front, 20 to 30.
Yeah. How was that opening with him?
I mean, it's the only difficult part is you go up cold. There's no one ahead of me. It's just somebody off curtain, off
People
stage.
still screaming in the door and all that too.
Right. And then I'm in the way. I mean, they paid $70 to see Howie, and they're like, all right, first, because the announcer's always like, you ready for Howie Mandel? And they're going nuts and like, but first, Jesus. So, but there's nothing like making 2,000 people laugh. You have to change your cadence, your timing, because it takes longer. The laughs last longer.
Through the room.
Sometimes it's very bizarre to get used to. And then you're doing less jokes too.
Because the laughing takes up the time.
Yeah, which is great. And people talk over you have to learn how to not talk over your laughs. But Howie was, I had no impression of him other than I knew he was funny and I used to watch his HBO specials. That's it. So kind and gracious. His dressing room is giant. Mine is the closet.
Yeah.
At the end of the hallway. And he's like, you're coming in mine every show. He's like, get in here, big trays of food. he grabbed something, he wants something to drink. Photos. I brought my brother in to meet him, which was hilarious because my brother has no idea how to act around celebrities. I've worked with many, many celebrities, and this is the first one he's met, and he treated him like a statue. My brother treated Howie like there's a picture of me and like Howie let me touch him and fool around with him.
Rules with Howie.
Right. But he knew that I'm mildly OCD, and it was in the spirit of comedy, so he was cool with it. But my brother's picture and him is like Pete. His name's Pete. He took like 6 feet apart from him, and he had his hands like he didn't know what to do. I was like, Pete, it's just another person. I was like, get close to him. And then I had at the end of that week, I had a gig in St. Augustine, Florida, another door deal, which is becoming more and more frequent, which is nice. Sometimes. And I was telling Howie's manager was saying, we were at a theater in Fort Lauderdale, I think. And he looks out at the crowd and he goes, oh, there's a little over 2,000. It's a little light tonight. 2,000 people. Yeah. And I go, hey man, I'm trying to fill an 88 seater in St. Augustine Saturday. Why don't you, put it in perspective. Yeah. He goes, you know what? You should do a video with Howie promoting the show. He'll do it. I go, really? So after the show in the green room, the next night in the green room in the next city, Howie's like, hey man, you want me to help you promote St. Augustine? And we did, and he did like 4 takes. He's like, I don't like that take. Let's do another take. And he didn't rush it. Yeah. So it's just him and I on camera. Yeah, him and I on camera, like just shooting the breeze and talking about St. Augustine. And, he helped me sell it out. And people, this is how much people watch your videos too. I had 3 people at the show go, I thought you said Howie was going to be here. Yeah, Howie's going to come to an 80. Yeah, next time. Or you could watch the video.
And hear the message through and through, right? Right. So men and mental health, right? It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And what do you want men, right? Regular guys, working guys, dads, sons, right? To hear from you right now.
Boy, I don't know that I'm in. I guess the best thing I can say is that, and this is just from me, you could get, people say talk to somebody, right? And like, I'm not going to talk to my parents, my neighbor, you can get professional help on the down low if that's the case, right? So no one has to know. I would probably start there if that's your roadblock, right? You have to talk to somebody. It could be a 5-minute conversation at the end of it, and then the next week it's 10 minutes or the next month or whatever, Start talking to somebody, talk to your primary care about any medications that might be helpful, whether it's short-term or long-term, and just get to the root cause. And then eventually there's a way, I think most men they don't want to lose their, quote unquote, manhood or masculinity. But I'm vulnerable. And we mentioned this before, I think for me, the way around that is, I'm feeling like crap, but I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to sit and wallow in it. And that took a lot of effort. It took a lot of time because it's just so easy to just wallow on the couch. Woe's me. And you have to force that in your head. Because you have no control over your thoughts, but you can put thoughts in there and repeat and force yourself to do. So you have to force it, and you have to want to get better too. So do you want to be a victim? Nobody likes to be around. Here's an example, and this is sort of not really a mental health example, but maybe a mindset example. A couple of years ago, I think I was a woe's me comedian. Other comedians or talent managers, hey, how's it going? I got to get more work, and this audition didn't go the way I wanted, and this and that. And I met with someone, I don't even remember who this is, and they were like, and they didn't say this to me because I was complaining. They just said, just think about your career like this. Nobody wants a woe's me comedian. If you're looking for a new talent manager, a new agent, or a new relationship in the industry, have stuff going on. Yeah. So translating that over into actual life, nobody likes to be around a woe's me person. So it's okay to be hurting inside. It's okay to, but get up and do something, even if you go to bed early and you get out and do and accomplish. Get out of those
4 walls that you're stuck in.
One of the early things I did was I started using my calendar and my phone to list out stuff that I wanted to accomplish. And I mean, and it's for my mental. It was for it was like make bed, brush teeth, shower, go for a walk the dog, cook bread. And so I had this list of like 40 things. And as I did it, I just deleted it from my phone. And the satisfaction and the even if it was a false sense of accomplishment, was like, this is a good day. Yeah. Because once it's gone, you don't know. You just know that you accomplished something. Exactly. You don't remember that it was breakfast. Yeah. You do this crap every day, but it's like, and then as time goes on, you kind of whittle it down to more important stuff. But in the beginning, it was like, I kind of went to bed like, today I got a lot done.
Yeah. Baby steps.
Yeah. So it is baby steps, just like weight loss. And it is a mind, it's a shift in the mind.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift.
I'm
no
not-
doubt about it.
I'm not always good at it.
No.
And, that's why I always feel weird giving advice. So I try to just share what works and what didn't work for me. And that's,
Yeah, and I say it right. Dan and I are not professionals, just lived and learned experiences. I like to
Mhm.
say, right? What works for Dan or myself may not work for you, but he's just giving his opinion.
yeah. I mean, like I went to, not too long ago, I went to this 50th birthday party that I wasn't going to go to. And my mom was going and she was alone at the party. Nobody else was going, none of my siblings or anything. It was a family friend. And I was like, I'm just an introvert, especially when being an introvert and traveling a lot,
Yeah.
and I get home, I don't want to go out. But I was in a funky mind, like just a mood, just a depressed kind of, and I was like, you know what, I'm going. And I didn't have the greatest time, but after the event, and I left, a couple hours before everybody else did, I'm sure, I felt great.
Yeah.
I was like, I interacted with a few. I controlled the interactions. I left them when I didn't want to. I was supporting my mom there who was alone, had some good food, and then I went home early, so I did something because, the next day I thought to myself, I probably would have just wallowed in my
In the
own,
house.
sitting on the couch
Yeah.
and then gone to sleep and woke up feeling just as bad, but I woke up the next day just fine.
Feeling
So,
great, yeah. So you lost, right? Like you just said, you lost 45 pounds, right? You wrote a whole book about it, right? GLP-1 and muscle growth, the flying
Right.
squirrel syndrome, right? Tell me about that title. Where did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
come
yeah.
from, and what does it mean?
So my whole life, used to go. I was always chunky my whole life, and then throughout my life, up until August 2024, I was up and down 20 pounds, 20, 30 pounds, up, down, up, down. I would get to a point where, like, I like the way I look. Why don't I eat pizza and drink beer for the next 6 months? Reward myself. So August 2024 hit, and I was feeling horrible on stage, feeling horrible about myself. I'd still avoided mirrors. And then I was introduced to the GLP-1, the Wegovy weight loss thing. And I gave it a shot, and I started to lose weight so fast that I had a lot of loose skin.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but enough to make me concerned because I wasn't lifting weights. And I was like, I'm going to end up like looking like a flying squirrel if I don't, I'm going to be able to hang glide with my own body. So I talked to my doctor, and we actually switched to Zepbound, which is a dual effect GLP medication. It eliminates food noise in your head and also with the appetite suppression as well.
Okay.
But I did so, and I told her, look, I'm going to start lifting weights regularly, and I don't want to rush the weight loss, and I want us to stop using the word weight loss. I want to use fat loss. So I'm happy with 1 pound a week, and if I gain 1 pound in a week, I'm fine with that. I don't want to lose it too fast. I want a body recomposition is what I'm focusing on. So since August 2024, it's now 60 pounds. When I wrote the book, it was 45, and I'm stronger than I've ever been. And all the stuff I found online and I see on podcasts are like GLP-1s cause muscle loss. And I was like, well, I don't want that. So I worked with a trainer for 3 months, and then I don't work with them anymore, but I
Learned what
take
you
his
had to do.
principles. Yeah. And started lifting. And the key is to take that medication, for me, to take that medication where it just brings me just in a calorie deficit enough. Because those medications in the beginning would take me from 4,000 calories a day down to 1,000. And I'm like, whoa, I'm getting no protein, no fiber, no.
Nothing.
So I was told to my doc, I said, if my resting metabolic rate is whatever, 2,400 calories, then I want to be at, 2,000 or 2,100. And then we'll adjust it as we go. And that's what we did. And I'm lifting more weight than I was in high school. And, I'm going to have some skin. It's inevitable because my peak weight was 280. And this is way back in the day. But I started, August 2024 was 265. I'm 205-ish now.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have some skin inevitably. However, shoulders broader, arms bigger, chest bigger, belly still there. That's the last to go. But I could tell my body's changed. And that's the way. So I was like, I'm a writer. It's not a comedy book, although it's a little bit humorous, I think. Neither is my interview book. It's not really funny. It's humorous, but more informative. But I was like, I need to share this journey because a lot of people are avoiding the medication because they don't want to lose muscle. And you don't have to. It's just the way you approach it.
And do it the right
and the
way.
the way you exercise. You don't want to lose the fast. That's why, folks that do gastric bypass sometimes lose weight too fast. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But that's where you get the loose skin surgery and whatnot. But like I said, I'm going to have loose skin. I'm not avoiding it. I'm minimizing it, I think. And Feel great. I worked out today. I did not want to. I just forced myself to.
Push through it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I always feel better after, especially when it's over.
That's like most of us.
But here's like we talked about earlier. I can't remember if we were recording or not. Well, I'm not. I have to realize I'm not competing for a bodybuilding
Anything.
competition. I'm not going to be taking my shirt off anytime soon to wow the ladies. It's not terrible. It's much better,
Than
but
it
it's not
was, yeah.
bodybuilder.
But it's
So
still a work
when you
in
have,
progress.
and I do I work out I lift weights 3 days a week. I do 10,000 steps or more every single day, and or try to. Yeah, and that's it. No hard cardio, no jumping, no, box jumps and other.
Yeah, nothing
It's just
crazy, right?
strategic weightlifting,
You're not scaling
progressive
walls and all
overload.
that.
No, although I used to play softball a lot. I wonder if I'd be better now that I'm lighter.
So,
But yeah, I think that. Go
sorry
ahead.
about that. What would you say to someone who is embarrassed or ashamed to consider even that path?
Yeah, that's another ego thing for men, right? I don't need somebody to tell me.
I don't need a shot, right?
Well, here's a reality check they can do, and hopefully it works. It worked for me. Get your blood work done. Get a full panel, cholesterol, everything, blood pressure.
That's if you can get a guy to go to the doctors.
Right. Well, that goes back to you got to want it.
Yeah.
I
gotta want
can't
it.
can't
Exactly.
force this on you.
Yeah.
So, do you have kids? Do you want to see them get married? Do you want to see your grandkids? I mean, I don't want to live to 110, but I certainly want to be around for a while. So that's got to be the motive. But you get that blood work, and you're like, my doctor's like, you got the calcium buildup, and your things just need to change. You see it on paper, and you kind of talk through with the doctor about what the possibilities are. You're like, all right, and no one has to know.
Exactly.
Just you and your spouse, and or not. Not everybody. You don't have to share your business.
No, everybody thinks everybody has to, right? You got to share everything with the world.
Right. And then if you do it this way that I outlined in the book, people don't know I'm on a GLP-1. They just go, wow, you look fit.
Yeah.
And that's
See
the
you in
biggest
gym,
compliment.
See you eating right.
Yeah, they're like, wow, you go from a 2XL shirt to a large, and people are like, wow, you look. It's not like, some people you can see, a month later and they're 40 pounds lighter, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, hopefully they're not sick. You know what I mean?
That's the number one thing that comes up, right? You look sick.
Right. So you do it slow and gradually, and then you have to, again, with that mindset thing, if you gain a pound in a week,
It's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It might be water, it might be that you ate too much a day or two or whatever. You could, you're not regular.
Yeah.
So just it's a marathon. And if you want it to be a sprint, I don't think you're going to get the body you want unless you're sort of in shape. Like there's men and women I know that were like super athletic in high school and college, and then they just let themselves go. And then in 3 months of hardcore working out, they can just be back the way they were in high school. So everybody's body is different, right? It responds different. But if you're like me, where you were always big and then, up and down, up and down, up and down, your metabolism's out of whack. It's just going to take a while.
To get going.
Find healthy foods that you like. I mean, I got the weirdest combinations of, I just see it online and I'm like, wow, that's healthy. That's, low calorie, high protein, high fiber, good fat, healthy, like half a cup of white rice with a half a pound of lean ground beef drizzled with honey and avocado. I'm like, let me try that. And I'm like, it's fantastic.
So good. Yeah,
and it's a
maybe
huge
a lot
bowl,
of turkey
volume
meat
of
for me.
food. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and number of bites help me a lot too. So if you have a meal that's super small, and if you just throw it on a bunch of romaine or a bunch of lettuce, low calorie, it's just you now go from 6 bites to 25, both mentally and physically. You're like, wow, I'm eating a lot of food. When in reality, you just added 15 calories, really. So it's like tricking yourself. It's very weird.
Yeah. So comedy, right? Comedy has taken you all over this country, right? Meeting all kinds of people who just want to laugh. What have those people taught you about the human condition?
It's very interesting to me to see what makes people laugh and what doesn't, especially when it's a joke or a bit that works all the time.
Yeah.
And then not that table.
That night.
Well, maybe that night it works, but that table does not.
Yeah.
Or those people did not.
Ooh,
Yeah. Or they just stare. And I'm like, this works all the time. This isn't new. In my head, I'm saying that, this is, but I do the human condition and, zooming out, bigger picture is the biggest compliment I get after my show is, hey, did you know you didn't curse the whole time?
Oh, that's awesome.
I would have never guessed it because here's how my act has been described to me. And this is not self-prescribed. This is two people now, a very well-known talent manager in Nashville and another person higher up in the industry. They go, look, Nate Bargatze, I don't know if you know who that is. He's the highest grossing comedian in the last couple of years, sells out arenas all over the place. He's super family friendly, clean, very funny. I think he's one of the best writers and performers ever, but people describe him as clean and wholesome. And these two people said, you're clean with an edge. Like there's a boiling anger about you. And you do touch topics that a quote unquote family friendly, non-risky comedian would not touch.
Yeah.
But you do it in a clean way. And that's why they go, that's why I think people compliment you with, did you know you didn't curse? Because it was almost like they listened to a show that I was cursing all the time, but I was just getting riled up.
So when did you stop swearing?
I probably swore on stage a couple of times in the beginning, but I'd always been a clean comic.
Clean comedy.
Probably because of it probably had to do with my personality, my upbringing as a Catholic, and combined with the fact that I got hooked on stand-up comedy from late night television.
Okay.
So it was the Carson and then eventually, Letterman, Leno, and they were all clean. I mean, I didn't know that they had to be clean. That's what got me hooked on
Just
it.
what got you hooked on it, yeah?
And then, coming across Seinfeld was, the best, and just adoring what he does. Adoring is a bad word, just loving what he does. But he's the king of writing and performing. And and then I enjoyed the fact that I think in the beginning, if I really think back, I had some jokes where the punchline or the laugh came at the curse word.
Okay.
And I said to myself, well, I can't do that on TV. Wait a second, is that even funny? Or am I just shocking them? Am I just
the word?
It's the word. So am I not a good writer? Sometimes I'm not, right? But I'm a better writer than that. So I just decided I'm going to, I love the process of trying to make something funny in a unique, maybe not unique way to me, my thought process, but yeah. And I don't want to take any shortcuts. I want to find the thing that you weren't thinking of, even if it's a topic everyone's talking about, and do it in a really, I guess, challenging way.
Yeah. So what does a room full of laughter feel like to you, right? In your chest and in your gut?
I get goosebumps on stage, and I'm so self-conscious that the audience sees that. I don't know why, because maybe I think, what are they thinking? Why does this guy have goosebumps? It's such a rush. It's such these people, because in my mind before a show, I go, I hope these people leave in a better mood they came to the show in. They left all their work problems, family problems at the door. They got a babysitter. They had to make arrangements. They probably went out to dinner before this. It's a whole night, and they chose to be here.
To see you.
Whether they knew, hopefully. But, a lot of even if they weren't, they would just go into a comedy show. They don't know who's there, right? It's my job to give them the best night out. And I don't want to offend anybody. I'm going to push some buttons. I'm going to poke fun, but it's almost in a way, in my family growing up, if you weren't made fun of, you were not loved.
Yeah, same here. I think it's an East Coast thing.
Yeah, and so I think I deliver a lot of my stuff like that people take, so I do this whole thing on jokingly say how sick I am of animal rights activists. Yeah. And there are animal rights activists in the crowd. And the way that I present the bit, they laugh first because it's almost like they know I'm teasing them. It's an obvious joke. And regardless of whether they don't know at the end whether I'm for or against whatever topic I'm talking about, they just know that this is all in levity. Yeah. This is all
in jokes.
Jest. Yeah. And I think my delivery tells them that, so they're more open to it. And I'll get people. So I used to do some Catholic jokes, and I got one woman after a show. She's like, "You were the funniest comedian I've ever seen, except for the Catholic jokes."
She gives you that Catholic guilt.
So, and obviously I did the old joke of, well, you have to forgive me, right? It's in the book.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, but she loved it. And then she followed. She's like, "I'm going to follow you online. I just wanted to tell you that the Catholic jokes were too much." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's your opinion." But yeah, it's
you have a lot of fun what you do. I can tell.
I can't. Yeah, the days people that know me, if I go too long without a gig, because I'll try to find an open mic just to try out new stuff or whatever. But comedy's not Monday through Sunday. So if it goes too long, people around me are like, "You need to find a stage." You're getting a little agitated. Right. You're getting a little, you're not yourself. You're not I'm like, yeah, I need to find, because I have to get, I even tell the audience sometimes, I go, I have so much, because I'll go into a topic and then it'll remind me of another topic and I'll go off and then I'll have to circle back. Remember, if I don't circle back, someone at the end of the show might go, you didn't finish the thing about the
Exactly.
whatever.
It's always that one person in the crowd, you know? Always.
But yeah, I can't wait for the next time to get on stage. And even if it's I mean, at this point in my career, and this is not a brag, but I haven't had a horrible show. I mean, I've had new jokes that don't work well, and I just work through them. But
the sets themselves.
yeah, and the show is just I can't wait. And the people afterwards, some people. I had this woman in Fort Myers. I'm in the middle of my show. I'm about 30 minutes into 60, and she gets up and leaves, and she's wiping her face with tears. I could see she was laughing. She was wiping the tears away, and she left the building. She left I can see the exit. And 10 minutes later, she comes back with another woman, and this woman is in a sort of a silky do-rag kind of head thing, sits her down, and then they both are laughing and crying. And after the show, I'm selling my merch, and I'm talking to her, and she goes, hey, this is my friend so-and-so. First of all, I'm sorry that I left your show, but I came back super quick. But my friend here was next door at the bar next door, restaurant bar next door, didn't want to come to the comedy show. She just beat cancer. She's got, obviously the head rag on. I figured she's got no hair, right? And she just didn't want to be around a lot of people. And I told her, I left the comedy club. I said, you have to come see this guy. I can't stop laughing and crying. So she came, and they both, and the woman who I just beat cancer, she was like, thank you so much for making I just can't tell you how good that felt, laughing for the last half hour. And I don't know how to, you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I just hugged them, and I was like, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And now move it. There's somebody behind you that wants to buy a t-shirt. I didn't say that.
No, that's awesome, right? For
Yeah.
you to be able to do that, and you can tell you love, you just love people, right? You want them to come, have a great time. You want them to laugh, right? So 2 more
It's probably why I
questions.
get mad when people talk during a show.
What's the
Like,
worst? I want to, when I'm in the crowd myself, I want to find them, and, because look, everyone's paid great money. We're not here to hear you. We're here to hear the comedian. It's like.
And
so
you're at a live
frustrating.
performance. And I think, I've been told that I'm good at crowd work, but while I'm doing it, it's forcing my hand if I'm doing it. My anger is boiling in my head because I'm missing out on telling jokes. I can't go on forever. I have a certain amount of time. Sometimes there's a second show. Sometimes the venue has to close.
It has to close, yeah.
I'm like, I wanted to work on this stuff tonight. I'm at work here.
Yeah.
Just because you've had too much to drink doesn't mean you can yap it up.
And ruin it for everybody, right?
Yeah, I know.
So how tough is that when someone does do that to you? You ever get thrown off your game now that you've been doing it 20 years or no?
No, but in the beginning, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes they're funnier than you in the beginning. And if you don't have the audience on your side already, and that person in the audience is the heckle is funnier than you have ever been on stage so far, that's tough. It's a very difficult hole. No, I think because well, for me, no, because I think you already know you're stinking it up there.
Yeah.
If you're emotionally intelligent enough to know, I know way too many comedians that
don't know.
eat crap on stage and get off like, I killed it up there, huh? I'm like, I don't know what you were looking at.
They can't be honest
with
themselves.
I tell their friends, don't tell him not to ask my opinion because we're not going to be friends.
Hurt.
But yeah, so now it's very few and far between, but I'll make it really awkward and silent for them because I know not only do I already have the crowd on my side, I can easily get the crowd back even if I make the room really silent. So I'll give them a moment and I'll make it super awkward.
Yeah.
And then they'll dig themselves their own hole and eventually be quiet or leave or whatever. But I mean, it doesn't happen too often.
Joan Rivers, right? She did this. There was 2 incidences in her show. It was her and Don Rickles at Foxwoods, and
man, what a show!
It was unbelievable. And this couple had came in late, and they were sitting up the very front row. And she sat on the front of the stage, and she said to security, she goes, "I'll get off this stage. Those people that just came in, they go to the back. If they want to stay, they go to the back. And those 2 people up in the back, bring them down."
Whoa!
And she
that's
literally.
Great.
The people were like, all right, they went up top. 2 people came down. She came out, bottles of champagne, flowers, chocolates, everything you can imagine, gave it to them. She was like, you did not come to my show late. It was such an old school thing. I think it was like, comedy back in the day. If they started at 7, you had to be there at 6:30. Everyone in their seats when that curtain opens. No one's walking in that, that door.
Yeah, I've had some success with this line. I've used it twice, and it's sort of mean, but maybe that's why I like it. There was I'll go if there's someone just yapping, trying to interrupt, trying to be funny, and you're trying to overpower them at first because you can't really address it unless the whole room hears it. You
Yeah.
can't address something that just a handful of people. So finally, the whole room got it really. You could just see them looking over at this table, whatever. And I said, "Ma'am, can I ask you? I never asked them a question. So I go, ma'am, I'm gonna ask you a question. Would you be surprised if to find out that tonight is not about you?" Would that be a surprise to you? And it's such an ego bruise to that person because they realize I'm essentially telling them how self-centered they are right now. And I said, and then I'll follow it with, tonight's not even about me. It's about all of us, and you're ruining it. I do not like you.
How does the crowd usually receive it? They love it?
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. Especially the I do not. I told the guy a couple weeks ago in Georgia. He was I could tell he got too drunk, and then he's going to the bathroom all the time, and then he's like talking loud. And I just addressed him once, and then finally I was like, I do not like you. I do not like. I mean, of course, I don't know whether I like him or not. It's just at that moment,
I just don't like him. You know, as a guest watching you. You know?
Another thing early in my career that affected whether I talked to the crowd or not too was I was opening up for this one comedian, and he was pretty arrogant. And he gets on stage and immediately attacks this guy in the front row with a cowboy hat. Cowboy hat, what the heck's going on here? And this just making fun of this cowboy hat, leaning into him. Crowds loved it, and he's just sitting there, arms crossed, cowboy hat, and got quiet. And the comedian's like, so really, what's the deal with the cowboy hat? You guys you guys can laugh at this, it's fine. And he takes his cowboy hat off, and he had scars on his head. And his wife goes, brain surgery. This is our first night out in 8 months. And the room, you could feel the air
just sucked right out.
And he had a tough time for the rest of his set, and they left. A couple ended up just walking out. I mean, and I remember thinking that as a young comic, like, wow, you don't know what they're going through. You know, even the comedians that pick on, look at that guy with the holes in his t-shirt or the flip-flops at the show. Maybe that guy saved up 6 months for him and his wife to go out.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what you went, like, to poke fun at someone who's paying to see you is just
stupid.
I don't. Yeah, because so what if they're dirty? You know what I mean? Like, what if you don't know their circumstance?
No,
What if they,
exactly.
they put this on a credit card, God forbid, and they're going into debt to come see your stupid jokes. Have some respect.
Well,
for
like
them,
you said too, most of the times you go to a comedy show, it's a whole night, right? You go to dinner, you see the show, you have a couple drinks.
You had to make arrangements.
$200,
Yeah.
Plus,
babysitter.
Babysitter if you need that. So it's
DUI on the way home. It's all part of the
those are always
package.
the best, right?
I can't tell you. I haven't had a drink in almost 4 years now, but I'm embarrassed to think about how many times I've drank and drove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not hammered like black, but I probably would have been arrested.
Yeah. So before I get to the last question, right? How does someone find you, follow your work, and get their hands on your books?
Well, I think the one-stop shop is my website, DannyJohnson.com.
And I'll have
from
that in
there.
the show notes.
Yep, thank you. All the socials are the same, Danny Johnson Comedy. Everything's about followers, so if you're so inclined, I think I put out good content. I do a weekly episode on YouTube called Everything Bothers Me, which is the title of my second special on YouTube, where I just rant about things that bother me. And so it's at Danny Johnson Comedy for all social media, and then DannyJohnson.com is where all the links are. Everything, books, my old podcast, clips,
everything
from both of my specials, everything. I just wanted to put it all in one place.
Make it easy and accessible.
Yeah. But
so perfect, right? So last question, right? You said your comedy journey has been 20 years of meeting people who share a similar hobby, right? Wanting to laugh.
Right.
I love that framing, right? Laughter is a shared hobby. Why do you think human beings need to laugh so desperately?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to people that are not comedy fans, because you could be the most famous comedian in the world and you don't know, people don't know who Seinfeld is. There's some people out there. So I think it's just probably 2 or 3-fold. It feels great to laugh. It's very sociable because you're in a dark room with hundreds of other people. And it's a night out, and it's also where you can go watch somebody and go, I do that, or I get it. I know somebody who's like that. I've seen that too. It's all this connection with this performer, and you're all laughing about it together for an hour. I mean, if you think about if you never go to a comedy show, the number of times you laugh in your everyday life, maybe once a day.
Yeah, if that.
But what if you went to a comedy show and you laughed for 90 minutes? It's
Yeah.
like a workout. It's a shot of heroin. I don't know what that feels like, but I would imagine.
When you wake up in the morning, it's a great feeling after going to a comedy show.
Yeah,
You
you find out your ribs hurt, your cheeks hurt. You're
Yeah.
like, what was that about? And that felt so good because you really don't laugh not everybody walks around chuckling it up unless you're a psychopath. So yeah, it's connection with the performer, it's connection with other people, and it feels good. And medicinally, they say, that old stupid phrase, laughter is the best medicine, but it really is because it just drives these dopamine and all these chemicals of positivity in your brain, and you leave, I think, lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. But you leave full, like I said, when I used to go to comedy shows, I'd leave and it would just be a shit-eating grin from ear to ear and just so happy, like
Yeah.
on cloud nine from seeing a great show.
Yeah, and then you're quoting the comedian
yeah.
on the way home and the drive home the
Yeah.
next day, and then sometimes it becomes a lifelong joke between you and the person you went with,
Yeah. Comedy shows are the best. So Danny Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, right? What a man, what a story, what a life. I want to talk to you just for a minute before we close this one out, right? Because what Danny shared today, it's not just about comedy. It's not just about the weight loss. It's not just about the books or stages or streaming platforms. It is about what it means to keep going, right? Danny has been making people laugh for over 20 years. And the whole time he was fighting his own mind, fighting his own body, showing up on stages across the country, making rooms full of strangers feel something while carrying more than any of them knew. That is not weakness. That is not performing through the pain. That is courage, real courage, the kind that does not look heroic from the outside, the kind that just looks like a man getting up and doing the work again, again, and again. And here is what I want you to take from today's episode. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening, you do not have to have it all figured out to take a step forward. You do not have to be healed to be helpful. You do not have to be whole to be worthy of love, of laughter, of a life that means something. Danny lost 45 pounds. He wrote books. He filled stages. He made millions of people laugh, but none of that happened because everything was easy. It happened because he refused to let the hard stuff be the last word about who he was. And I am going to say it directly to the men listening right now because this month is for you and this show is for you. It is okay to struggle. It is okay not to have the answers. It is okay to be the guy in the room who is quietly carrying more than anyone knows. But I am asking you, no, I am begging you. Do not carry it alone. Talk to somebody. Reach out. Ask for help. Because the bravest thing a man can do is admit he is human. Go find Danny's work. Find his comedy. Read his books. Follow his journey. Because when you see a man who has been through it, who has lived in the valley and clawed his way up the other side and still shows up every single day committed to joy and growth and service to others, that is a light in the dark. Follow it. Danny, thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart for showing up on this show, for being honest, for being real, and for being exactly who you are. Thank you so much, pal.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Peace and love. Uncle Jimmy out.